Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo, and it's always great to be on this show where we discuss all things books. I hope you have been reading. We always say on this show, get down to reading. Read. At the beginning of this year, we encourage you to pick up a book a month. So how many have you done this year? TikTok, year is running out. If you've missed a couple of months, you can do catch up. And if it's one book in 2 months, not so bad. That will give you 6 books in a year. But you try one in a month. That will be fantastic. That will be fantastic. Well, this man on your screen, you probably have stumbled upon him. Or if you have not, here is an introduction. A very accomplished, highly successful French Congolese author. He visited Nigeria recently, Lagos to be specific. And there was a Q&A session where he shared his thoughts, his ideas, his experiences, and it was such a blast for everybody present, including us, because we were there. Enjoy this.
Alliance Française de Lagos hosts Alain Mabanckou, a prolific francophone Congolese poet and novelist, to conversations on his works of art and African literature.
I was writing poetry to celebrate the return of my father.
Mabanckkou's presence in Nigeria is part of his tour to 5 African countries. He had earlier visited Senegal, Togo, Burkina Faso, and Ghana. The tour is to support the promotion of African and multilingual literature. Mabanckou, in his conversation with journalists, which was hosted by the Deputy Director of the French Institute of Nigeria, Magali Lusange, explains how he was able to successfully translate the book, Beast of No Nation by Uzodinma Iweala, to French without losing the author's initial flow of thoughts.
The main thing for the translation is, as far as if you are a writer, is like you are giving something from you to another guy or to another writer, and the voice you gave to that writer gonna follow you longer and longer, and you're gonna be like lost for a lot of time. Because each time you wanna write the next book after the translation, you're still hearing the voice of the you gave to that writer. That was my case for Uzodinma Iweala. He wrote in the kind of pidgin from you hear, kind of broken English. So I don't have the talent to create a kind of broken French. So my guess was what I'm gonna do, and then I wrote it like in Congolese French, so that it's gonna be broken for the French people. So I tried to make a kind of adaptation, and people in France read that book thinking that it's the accent from Congo. I think that as a writer, I have the right to do so, but another guy couldn't take this license just to destroy a little bit the book. But I think that I was at the end of the job, I was very jealous because I saw that, the book is too good. Why it's not my book? And then I said to myself, it's okay, it's still, my name is still there. So I gave the rhythm, but I kept the substance of the book.
Mabanckou, whose works are originally written in French, speaks on how he feels about his books being translated to English.
To have the same translator, she has my voice. She's white. That is very strange because she's white, but she's a writer. That's what I saw first. I didn't care about the race or something. I cared about the fact that Hélène Stevenson, she's a writer. She translated very well my books. She translated very well Tomorrow I Will Be 20. She translated the Light of Pointe Noire, and so on and so on. Kind of situation. Now you need to give it to a Nigerian writer in order to put a kind of local sound or local taste. They take it as it is because the style is like one of a kind. It's you. Like if I'm me, the Nigerians are going to take me like I took them. So I don't think that there's something I have to change in order to adapt myself to the Nigerian leadership.
Using his newest book, Letter to a Young Senegalese Novelist, as a case study, the Congolese author states how literature has broken barriers between races.
I think that writing literature is the only path which gonna help us to forget that the world is divided, that we have boundaries, that we have races. Because if you put like a Chinese writer with a Congolese writer, with a Korean writer and Ugandan writer, they're gonna be pleased because they are in the same field, because they know what it takes to write a book, what it takes like to suffer when you are like waiting for that voice coming from your character, and you have to like to write it on your book, and they know what kind of impact you have with the population.
After hosting journalists is a meet and greet session with fans, which the founder of Ake Arts and Book Festival, Lola Shunei, anchors. During the session, the Congolese author explains how he promotes Africa in and outside the continent.
Earlier, we have a type of Africa which is called mobile Africa. So everywhere I go, I try to find where's Africa. If I go like in United States, I'm gonna eat like in Ethiopian restaurants. I'm gonna eat like in Ghanaian restaurants. So Africa is to be found. I'm afraid of people who declare that they know what Africa is, they have found Africa. No, if you find something, it's over. You don't seek it anymore. So Africa, it's a kind of perpetual reconstruction. It's gonna fall, you're gonna rebuild, it's gonna shatter, you're gonna take the pieces, trying to create the best version of Africa you can propose to people. That's why I can say that I'm rooted in Africa, but at the same time, I accept that my leaves from my tree, try to go as far as the wind gonna take them. So I don't care when it's gonna fall, what it's gonna create over there. I know for sure that I'm gonna have always a piece of Africa. So Africa is with me, even when I'm in Europe or the United States of America.
Mabanckou, who is arguably acknowledged as African Samuel Beckett, is the author of Bleu Blanc Rouge, 1998 Blue White Red, which won the Association of French Language Writers literary Grand Prize of Black Africa. His other works include Broken Glass, The Death of Comrade President, Tomorrow I'll Be 20, and Lights of Point in Norway, amongst others.
Hoping to have more international authors come into the country and mix things up with our local authors. And of course, people like us can enjoy just gleaning from their experiences and their skills and wisdom. Well, it's been happening in Nigeria, particularly when we have festivals like the Ake Book Festival, Lagos Book and Art Festival, and so on. But we need more of that happening. Well, there's a new book in town. It's an absolute must read. I will allow the reports that we're going to show you now to introduce this new book, and of course, it's very, very accomplished author. Enjoy this.
media practitioners in the private and public spaces are gathered here to honor a distinguished colleague, the editor-in-chief and senior vice chairman, Leadership Group, Mr. Azu Ishikwene, on the launch of his newest book, Writing for Media and Monetizing It. The veteran journalist, author and publisher shares his over 35 years of experience in the handbook to mass communication students, journalists, journalism teachers, media entrepreneurs, and new media enthusiasts. Speaking as chairman of the occasion, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, applauds the author and highlights two significant things he has done.
I will start by highlighting two very significant things Azu has accomplished with regards to this book. The first one is the very act of writing this book itself, of taking time to pen something that is destined to become an industry classic. The second significant thing that I think Mr. Azu has accomplished is also by his ability to assemble all of us here today for the launch of this book. I think this very stellar gathering of Nigeria's medias, who is who, veterans, publishers, media entrepreneurs, critics, editors, and all. This is something that cannot be easily replicated.
Renowned journalist Ruben Abati, while reviewing the book, gives a snippet of what readers should expect.
We all want money, but Azu Ishekwene's Writing for Media and Monetizing It is more than that. It strikes a balance between traditional media practice and opportunities available to the writer in the age of digital adaptation. But this is more a book about the art and craft of journalism itself in an age of transition, covering a broad range of issues: personal development, voice and style, impact writing, the law, managing the social media and its discontents, journalism in the age of artificial intelligence, branding, and self-reinvention. The book is enriched by the many voices that it projects. This is not just Azu Ishekwene speaking to us. We are offered examples and the voices of other journalists across the spectrum of print and social media, making the book all the more relatable, delivered in a classic precision writing style.
In her remarks, the chairman of Leadership Media Group, Zainab Nda Isaiah, speaks in what she understands the author intends to share with the public.
This book is not just a collection of tips and tricks, but a comprehensive guide that covers the entire process of writing for media from idea generation to publication. However, this book is in a class of its own because beyond what I just mentioned as its focus, the book Writing for Media and Monetizing It, as the name implies, also focuses on monetizing the craft of great writing.
And of course, the main highlights of the day. The author, who is launching his second book, explains why he wrote on the topic at this time.
Basically, there's a principle that whatever attracts money flows in the direction of value. All right? So whatever you're doing, whether it's journalism, which is history as it unfolds and holding systems and governments accountable, whether it is that you are doing or you're just creating content, as long as you put effort and create value, money flows in that direction. Or if money is a word that makes people a bit uncomfortable, some form of reward will ensue from that. As long as you are consciously creating value some form of reward will ensue, and it's only a matter of time before that gives you a certain measure of material comfort.
Aside the veterans present at the book launch, the Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Keyamo, and Senator Ireti Kingigbe were also present to grace the launch of the 280-page book.
Some time ago, we introduced to you a gentleman called Anthony Abore, who has written 2 books that have intrigued me a lot. You know, there's that question, that recurring question about the black man. Is there something about the black man? What's wrong with the black man? Why do black societies not grow as much as, you know, other societies around the world? Well, some of us are black and proud, but then the question remains. Anthony Abore has attempted to get into that debate, and after years of research, he came up with 2 books that are mind-blowing, well, for somebody like me anyway. And the last time we had him on the show, we decided to keep a part of that interview until later. Now is that later. Enjoy this.
The kind of education we have in Africa is not enough to produce great leaders. What we have is transactional education. You go and read chemistry in school, take it to go and get a job and start working, and you end with only the knowledge of chemistry. That's transactional education. The correct education has to do with wide, voracious reading. The white man calls it a cultural literacy. You must have wide and extensive knowledge of everything. That is what builds vision on your head. Great vision of how to craft a great society. When you have wide knowledge, then you will have capacity for great vision. And when you have capacity for great vision, you can now craft a great society. What I call the doctrine of the superstate. We don't have a superstate in Africa. Kule, let me tell you, Dubai, go to the internet. 144,000, about more than 144,000 Nigerians visit Dubai every year. If you are going to, if you take on the average that each of them takes $40,000 to Dubai, because there are some of them that go with $1 million. If you take on average that each of them takes $40,000, which they spend in Dubai, if you calculate it, it means that Nigeria alone, what Nigeria alone contributes to the economy of Dubai is over $6 billion annually.
Let's even say you're exaggerating and cut it to $1 billion. That's a huge amount of money.
It is over $6 billion if you calculate it. That is Nigeria alone. Africa has 54 nations. All of them visit Dubai to go and spend their money there. Because those people have been able to create a super state. Great leadership is not about just we are patching road here, we are doing water, we are doing electricity. Those things are primitive, rudimentary elements of leadership. Primitive element, compulsory things in leadership, which people must have. People must travel through good roads. They must have water to drink. They must have electricity. But to build a superstate is the issue. And what is a superstate? A superstate is a nation which you have to craft in such a way that people of other nations must have to depend on you. They must come to you for one thing or the other.
So we don't have any superstates?
We don't have one in Africa.
In the whole of Africa?
In the whole of Africa. Look at Abuja, the capital of the greatest black nation on earth. Abuja is supposed to be an international city. It is not one. How do you know an international city? If you enter an international city, you will be seeing hundreds of thousands and millions of foreigners of other nations walking along the street, taking pictures and video clips of landmarks and beautiful places. They come there for sight, for pleasure, for business, and for all manner of things. How many foreigners do you see in Abuja? So we have to you need great vision in order to craft a super state, which citizens of other nations, whether they like it or not, they must be coming to spend their money. It is what makes you a nation very rich is how much of foreign capital that flow into your own nation, because you have become indispensable.
So, Senator, you are saying that a failure in leadership, lack of super states, as you just explained now.
Lack of super state is a symptom of it. Is a result of failure of leadership.
Corruption, all the things.
They are traced to ignorance.
They are traced to ignorance.
Lack of wide divergence of knowledge.
Senator, I know if I leave you,
I'm still coming.
You're still warming up.
Yeah.
I know you can't come. Yeah. But you had already written here that you are ready for opposition.
Any question, any debate that will come from anywhere, I'm ready, because the facts are impeccable. With authorities.
Okay, I will take you back to. It's one of the things that fascinated me, I believe, in the first time I spoke to you, in your first book, and which is also here. One of the most fundamental things you try to establish here, which you have also mentioned, is that history of Africa.
Which Africans are unaware of.
Africans are ignorant of.
Yes, particularly their leaders.
Yes, and you've connected that history to the history of ancient Egypt.
Yes.
You are saying that the ancient Egyptians were blacks.
Completely.
Blacks.
And that is the key. That is the key to the progress of Africa even today.
That particular point.
Yes, they need to realize whom they are. That is the key.
And the reason why it is key, your argument is that nobody disputes the role of ancient Egypt in human history.
Of course.
In terms of civilization.
Of course.
The
Western civilization originated from
writing,
yes,
numeracy, formal education,
philosophy,
art,
science, medicine, everything, building. Everything started with them. They originated everything. And the great names we honor in the Western civilization, be it Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all those ancient philosophers and so on of ancient Greece, they were all students in Egypt. They all studied under black people in Egypt. So the tragedy is that Africans are completely ignorant of whom they are.
One of the things I like about your book is how you also quote Western historians.
Of course.
Great historians.
Great names of the Western world.
How they confirm.
The statement they made confirming what I'm saying. All of them.
You had a lot of quotations like that.
Including the Cambridge University. The Cambridge University authenticated the authorities are so much that you cannot contest them. So that is one. Africans need to know whom they are.
Senator Anthony Agbo, thank you very much. It's been exciting discussing this. We can't reveal everything in here. Or do you want to reveal everything in here? You want them to go and look for the book and read now. Thank you for joining us on Channel.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure.
Anthony Agbo is still out there talking about that. He's so passionate about the subject. You need to get his 2 books, dig into them, and then I'm pretty sure if you have your own theory, his books will probably get you thinking along different lines. And if you are already keyed into his thinking, then you'll find his 2 books very, very fascinating. This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.